Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Warriors Walk-Off here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. And I can't believe it's softball and baseball season already. And actually, we begin this season already in progress. You're about halfway done with your season, Coach Jones. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
I don't know where to begin quite yet because you're already 19-6 as we tape this, and you're heading into your first NSIC games this week. Well, I guess let's start at the beginning. For those who maybe are blinded by basketball season and aren't really ready for this to start, where is your starting point for softball?
Well, we're really pretty much from the time the kids get on campus, we roll. We have a full fall season that the games don't count, but we still get to practice with them, play games, things like that. But our real actual season started January 9th. So as soon as the kids came back to campus, the first day back in classes in January was our first day of practice.
Wow, hit the ground running then,
yes.
Right as soon as the kids get back. And then in February, you started with your games. You had a couple in the bubble in Rochester, and then you went on your trips. The trips to Illinois, Florida, and Missouri, you've done those the past couple of years. Do you have a hand in deciding where to go, or is that the athletic department?
No, we get to do most of our own non-conference scheduling. Florida, we've tried to do year in and year out. It's the best way to get 10 guaranteed games in good weather. Chicago, we've gone back and forth between trying to run a dome tournament here and going to somebody else's dome tournament. There's pros and cons on both ends, both financially and workload-wise, and what we're asking the athletic department to have to do during the middle of basketball and gymnastics and everything else to come up with trainers and games management and things like that too.
You've packed a lot into and all throughout the season you have to pack a lot into a short amount of time. In about a month you played 25 games. How does that work with the athletes themselves, trying to balance school and athletics and that sort of thing?
And the hard part is yet to come.
Right.
We've got 30 more games in the next 5 weeks, and so far it hasn't been too bad because the 10 in Florida were over spring break. The other tournaments have been weekend games, but even those started on Fridays, so we had to leave on Thursdays. But again, hopefully our kids are staying up with it, staying ahead, communicating with professors. For the most part, our professors are very good about handling that. Where it gets really challenging now is what we have coming up, because we start playing more midweek games. The weather starts to creep in, and the schedule becomes a suggestion. Right. And where at the beginning of the year, you're going to play indoors, you're going to play in nice weather, the games are going to get played, where now it gets a little tougher. Do you move up a day, back a day, cancel altogether? And it gets really challenging for our kids.
All right. To begin the season, you were picked 3rd in the NSIC. Do you think that was a fair ranking?
Yeah, I think obviously the preseason stuff is normally about what you did last year, who you have coming back, who you lost, things like that. And so I think it's very fair. Mankato's got a whole lot of kids back, and an All-American pitcher, 6 All-Conference hitters. So they were going to be at the top, and after that it was just it was interesting to see how it all fell.
All right, I want to talk about your first couple of games first, the ones that you played in Rochester. You had Jordan Clement, am I saying that name right?
Yeah.
Okay, getting her first career win, first time out, and then a couple days later, she gets a no-hitter. That's amazing to get that as a freshman.
It is. As a freshman, I can think, I've been here 17 years now, and there are only, I think, 2 pitchers that have thrown for us as freshmen, legitimate big-time innings, and for her to come out and win right away and get a no-hitter right away was really impressive.
So as that game was going on, what were you thinking sitting from the bench watching it?
Oh, I think I was more nervous in that no-hitter than I've been. We've had a lot of no-hitters over the time. That's probably as nervous as I've been since our first one, and just because it was a freshman, and she had it going and we had it going, and you just all of a sudden you kind of realize it in about the 4th inning, and then you just got more and more nervous with every out. You just wanted to finish it.
I want to back up now. I wanted to get that in there before I forgot about it, but you had lost 5 players from last year's team. Very young team this year, 9 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 6 juniors, and 1 senior. How do you think everybody has kind of handled this season so far?
Oh, it's been great. The chemistry of this group to me is as strong as it's been. We needed a fresh start. We got it. The leaders of this team are, I think, is our junior class, and they've done a great job of trying to get everybody on the same page. Our freshmen have done a very good job of buying in, and we're getting talent from all 4 classes. But the influx of talent in the freshman class has been important to us. The leadership of our junior class has been really important to us.
You mentioned that only a handful of pitchers have pitched as freshmen. Out of those 9 freshmen that you have, how many do you expect to see, besides Jordan maybe taking the mound, or even seeing significant playing time?
Jada's been a really pleasant surprise for us. Jada didn't pitch all fall, and she was supposed to, but she had a little bit of an injury. She came back at Christmas time and said she really wanted to make a go of it, and we said, well, we'll see where it goes. And even as we got started in our first 6-7 games, I didn't really think we were going to go that direction with her. And but once she got going, I think she's won 4 games, still has a 0.00 ERA. So I think she's going to continue to get some more looks and some more work there. But the way McKenna's throwing the ball and the way Jordan are throwing the ball right now, we haven't had a lot of need to stretch beyond our probably top 3 yet.
Okay, just a couple of minutes left in this segment, so let's kind of recap the last couple of games. You had a great Florida trip, great Illinois trip. Missouri, you split at 3-3. Talk about that trip.
Well, Missouri's always kind of a welcome back to reality. We get down to Florida, and it's not like we play weak teams, but it's just a different setup down there when you're playing every day and you're grinding every day, and you never know what the matchups are going to be, your 1 versus their 3, or your 3 versus their 1 on the mound, whatever. But Missouri, we always know we're going to face really good teams. We faced probably 2 of the best teams in the region the first day down there. I was really happy that we were 2-0 with them. I would have liked to score a few more runs, obviously, but our pitching was outstanding down there. I was as well as we have ever pitched in that tournament. Now we've gone down there and been 2-4. We've gone down there and been 5-1. The goal for me every year is to go down there and get to 3. And if you can go 3-3, you've had a great weekend. Everything after that is gravy. It took us to the last game to get to that 3rd one this year, but our offense scuffled a little bit. It was, we ran in some really good pitching, and we just had a difficult time putting hits together in innings, and we were finally able to do that in the last day.
All right, you've had a little bit of a break. Now the 19th was your last game. So how does your team set up to start NSIC play this week?
We'll come right out and get after it tomorrow. We'll throw McKenna and Jordan on the mound and hope that our offense can kind of get going. It's been an interesting week off. Normally, again, in all my time, we've never had this week off. And so in some ways, we try to use it to rest some, our arms and things like that. In other ways, we want to try to fix some things offensively and really work at some things. And so hopefully those things combine that we're ready to go. We get 6 at home this week, and then it's 6 a week from here on out, either away or home. But I think our kids are ready. They're excited. I know I'm excited to get back into game action.
All right, last question here in this segment. You mentioned the weather, always a problem. It's been wet the last couple of days. How's the field looking?
Field is wet right now, but the sun will help tomorrow. It's solid. It's not greasy. It's not soft. It's just wet. The outfield is wet. The infield's wet, but we should be good. It has come out of winter really well.
All right, very good. Well, good luck this week in NSIC play.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Walk-Off, and when we come back, McKenna Larson will join us right after this.
We chose HBC because they're a local company. They have a big audience in Winona, which is the geographic group that we're looking for. Mel is very easy to work with. She's genuinely concerned about how our money is being spent, and she does everything she can to make sure we get the most for our money. She takes care of us. So whenever there's a problem, which is rarely, I know that I can go to her and she's going to take care of it.
To see how HBC Advertising can help your company, call Melanie at 507-474-5802.
What makes a rivalry? Religion, territory, or just good old-fashioned hate?
This sport means so much to the people who take part in it.
We go over there and bash their brains in. It is what it is.
1, 2, 3.
We don't want you to love us or feel sorry for us. Hate us, because that's what we want.
And welcome back to Warriors Walk-Off here on TV 25. Time now to get the player perspective. McKenna Larson joins us. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Unfortunately, I want to talk not about softball in the first question, so I apologize to Coach Jones. As we said last year, you're a 2-sport athlete here at Winona State, and you play volleyball. Volleyball has an incredible season. First time that they ever get to the NCAA tournament. Talk about that experience a little bit.
It was really exciting. I think from where we've been freshman year to sophomore year to junior year was awesome. We set so many records, and yeah, it was really exciting. I'm still grinning from it. Obviously, we lost to the eventual national champs, but revenge is next season.
For those that didn't see it, you had a video posted on Twitter of when you found out that you were going to the national tournament, and that was very exciting. Do you take that kind of result to a season and bring that over to softball, or do you kind of set the slate clean?
I think kind of both, you know, experience that, you know, you can have success, but then also at the same time, it's a reset, a different sport, different people, different everything. So in the back of in my mind, I mean, obviously I still have it and cherish everything, and just kind of move forward with that to a different team, different coaches, different everything.
All right, let's move it then to softball. And so I was talking with Coach Jones about the kind of compacted schedule and that sort of thing, trying to work studies into the athletics. How do you handle that personally?
I think the more time you have, the more you waste. So it's kind of, when you have deadlines and you have games, you just kind of have to do it. You can't procrastinate. And somehow, eventually, it always gets done. So I think that's, obviously it's probably different for freshmen. It's new and everything, but staying up and, you know, when we do have days off and getting caught up is probably the biggest thing.
All right, I want to ask about you getting the first start of the season. You're handed the ball right away. Did you kind of relish that kind of opportunity?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. I mean, last year I pitched about half the season, so getting to start and being was very exciting. I always talk about how emotional it is for me because I didn't get to pitch freshman year either, and getting the first start, it's pretty something special.
Okay, I'll ask your reaction to finding out about that, but when do you find out or tell the pitcher that they're going to be the first one to start the season, and is that kind of a big deal to you?
I try not to make it too big of a deal because I don't want to start dealing with the emotions on either end of it.
Sure.
You know, I don't want them to get too high, and I don't want the people that don't get the ball to be too low. You know, and so my pattern for every start is I hand them the game ball once I write the lineup out. And there are times I let them know ahead of time if, okay, you know, so you can sleep on this and you know you're not overthinking it or overanalyzing it or whatever. But for the most part, on regular game days, I write the lineup out and hand the pitcher the game ball, and that's when they find out.
Keeps you on edge.
I guess. So for you, I mean, you were the #2 pitcher last year, looked to get into the #1 slot this year. I mean, did you kind of expect that you were going to start the season?
I don't think so. Quite honestly, I'm just happy that I get to pitch. Obviously, Jordan's doing awesome too. So whether you throw game 1 or game 2, as long as I'm out there, I'm pretty happy.
Well, you've done very well once you've been out there. 8-2 so far this season, a 1.40 ERA in 9 starts. How do you feel you've been pitching this year?
I feel like I'm a different pitcher this year. Just like different pitches work different days, and I think Coach has realized that. And I think that's what, you know, I'm not just going to be the same pitcher every day. I think whatever, which could be good or bad, but it's good so far.
I went back to look at the tape when I talked to you last year, and you said you were a pitch-to-contact pitcher. You mentioned different pitches. How many pitches do you throw?
4?
5.
5. Throw them all. Still pitch to contact.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I had a 4-pitch inning one game, so that was cool.
Wow.
Or yeah, 1 inning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very good. Okay, and then kind of last question here. When you're not playing, when you're not pitching, you play a little in left field. Talk about that and being able to kind of balance the different positions. How do you feel when you're out in left field?
I think when I'm playing outfield, I focus more on the offensive part, and that could be good or bad as well. But pitching is nice because it gives you a break. You know, you gotta go pitch. You can't worry about the time you just struck out or you go strike out someone else. But I mean, I enjoy it. I'm glad I can be on the field, and I appreciate it.
All right, I guess I'll squeak one more question in here. As we talked to a couple different pitchers last year, some like to hit, some don't. How do you feel about hitting?
I like to hit.
Very good. Any particular part about it, or you?
Nope.
Nope.
Just like to do it.
Get out there and do
Yep.
it.
Yeah, and we need her bat in the lineup. It's still one of the biggest bats we have. So
yeah, over 300 so far this
Yeah,
year. So
yeah.
Congratulations on that. Well, good luck in starting the NSIC season, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Walk Off. When we come back, we'll talk Warrior baseball right after this.
Cost Cutters of Winona presents Making the Grade, hosted by Interim Superintendent Kelly Halverson. Catch all the spotlight happenings in the Winona School District 861, featuring interviews with students and faculty members. Tune in to Making the Grade on HBC TV 25 at 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Check your listings for additional weekend times. Presented by Cost Cutters of Winona, located at the Professional Building in the Winona Mall Annex.
Wednesdays.
Mac's in the house, Mac's in the house. Nerd. Mac's in the house, Mac's in the house. Nerd. In the house. Mac's in the house, Mac's in the house. In the house. Mac's in the house, Mac's in the house.
D's in the house. A D's in the house. A D's in the house. What's up? You just said this exact same thing, okay?
Coming from you, it just came off so sad.
Sunny. All new Wednesdays at 10 on FXX or catch up on demand.
And welcome back to Warriors Walk-Off. Time now to talk Warrior baseball, and Kyle Polk joins us. Thanks for joining us here. We always try to cram in as much as we can here in this opening one to talk about all the things that happened before. So first question that I asked Coach Jones, I'll ask you, when does baseball actually start? When's the first time that you get to see your team?
Well, you know, we practice all fall, but our first official is January 10th is the NCAA date, or the first day of classes, whichever comes first. I think we started on the 10th or 11th, whichever that was. So we've been going since January. First games can't be played till the first weekend of February. We played 3 game set down in Oklahoma the weekend right around Valentine's Day. And then we were in Florida for spring break. And then we had 2 games up in US Bank Stadium and then the Vikings Stadium. And then now we're in conference games.
All right. The NSIC poll, preseason poll came out and they ranked you 6th. Did you think that was a fair ranking?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you looked at it, we're young. We are young. You see that there's some days we're playing 5 freshmen. Most of the time we got 3 in the lineup for sure, starting position-wise. We have a pretty upperclassman pitching staff. Our starting pitchers are, we got 3 seniors and a junior, and then another sophomore is in that mix too. So now we just added a freshman in that too. But our pitching staff is upperclassmen, and majority of our position guys are young guys. So I thought it was a fair assessment.
All right, yeah, I know you talk pitching, probably talk about that a little bit more, just the fact that you need so many pitchers because of the compacted season and the games that you played back and forth. So.
Yeah, and it's totally different than like the teams in the South. They can get by with 3 starters all year because they start playing games in February. They start their conference season early March, play 3 game sets for a week. We're playing 6 game weeks for conference when we start, like last weekend was our first weekend. So we in that regard, we're behind the 8 ball and things, but we know that's what it's geography, and we know where we're at, so we got to make sure we got 6 pitchers.
So you start in January when the classes start. When do you actually get outside? Was Oklahoma the first time you got outside?
Yeah, really. We were outside for no, I don't think we were outside before we went to Oklahoma. We had that nice weather in February, which we got outside, but we couldn't get on the baseball field per se because the dirt and the frost was coming up. So we're on the football field, which is great, but it's still not the same thing. So yeah, actually in Oklahoma, the first BP we took that was outside was there.
Wow. So, and how did the team react to that? I mean, I know that it happens every year. That
it
takes a while.
Well, they love it because they're outside. You get instead of being in the cages and you don't see where the ball goes or anything, you just hit the ball and it hits the net. They were able to see the ball off the bat, see what's going on. Hopefully, they're doing some things and working on things we're working on in practice. But it's always better to be outside.
All right. One other thing that I want to talk about before we actually get into some of the games that you played was Hunter Kruzmark from Lake City. That story coming in where he's going to be kind of following you all season long, part of the team. Talk about that and about how that came about.
Well, there's an organization out east in Boston called Team Impact that works with the the chronically ill children or whatever, trying to get them matched up with collegiate teams to try to help them with their everyday struggles. There's things that they have with, and so we were contacted last November. They actually contacted Eric Scho and Miranda Nash, and then they contacted and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this young man? He loves football and baseball. Would you be interested in doing this with the baseball? And it was a no-brainer. I said, yeah, because I know a couple teams, a couple coaches I'm friends with from across the country, and they've done it, and they said it's been a great experience for their guys. It gets their guys to see that, yeah, there's more to life than just baseball. Yes, we have to go to school, but there's other things out there that are more important, and helping a young man who's struggling with everyday life, dealing with some illnesses and things that can be tough for him. It's been a good thing. It's been good. And he's been at our home games the last 2 weekends. The first days, the second day, because we went from Saturday, Sunday to Sunday, Monday, so he couldn't be at Mondays because he's got to go to school.
Right.
But the mom emailed me last week and said, well, he was trying to follow at school on his computer or whatever on Monday. So, but he's having a great time. He's with us. He's getting more vocal. Like yesterday, I heard him, or Sunday, I heard him cheering and getting on guys and stuff or whatever. And the guys love having him around. It's been a good thing. Hopefully it's good for them, but it's been good for our guys too.
Now, I remember at the press conference you said that the first time that you hoped that he would be able to join you was when you went to US Bank Stadium. Was he able to go to that trip?
He went. We picked him up in Lake City. He was there waiting for us and rode the bus up with us. And the mom and dad thought maybe because it was late at night he'd only probably stay for one game and then have to go home, but he didn't. He stayed. He stayed the whole time, and every time I went down to where like Mitch and the bullpen guys are sitting, he's sitting right there and he's having a good time. So, and he lasted all night. The mom said though he got in the car, he was out within 10 minutes because he was tired, but he hung in there and did a great job.
We'll ask Mitch about that that kind of game too when he's on here. But yeah, that U.S. Bank Stadium. First of all, talk about your first thoughts of it. I know you're a Packer fan, so it wasn't maybe as impressive as some other people might have thought. But what did you think about the baseball dimensions?
Oh, the dimensions are kind of similar to our park, a little bit, maybe 5-10 feet off, but kind of the same thing, is straight across right field, a little bit shorter in right field, then deep in center and left. So that's very similar to us. But it was honestly the playing surface and being able to play. It was awesome. It was the better turf, like the Metrodome. It was great to play a game, but that turf was hard.
Yeah,
it was hard, and they had the cutouts around the bases were dirt, and it was like cement and stuff. So guys would slide and rip up their knees and thighs and stuff. But it was a great experience, and it's an unbelievable building. It's unbelievable. We didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but what you could see from where we were sitting, whatever, it's an unbelievable place.
Now I only got to see a few pictures, but is there any actual dirt on the field? Because I saw that there was. Brown areas.
Was the mound? No, the mound was
turf. Even the mound wasn't.
Yeah, everything was turf.
So how did that work with the mound? We'll ask Mitch that too when he comes in.
Yeah, well, it's they make them now that way, that they're permanent, they're turf. There's really no difference. It just depends on where they're at. Some places want you to wear turf, some places will let you have spikes, but it's a turf. They have a portable mound, so after games are done, they'll be able to take it off and store it, and then after a while, the landing strip, if that gets tore up, it's a Velcro piece that's like 6 feet by 10 feet or whatever it would land, where they just take that out, put a new one on. So it's pretty interchangeable.
Talk about the game times then, because the first game that you played there started at 10 p.m. And the second game was like 12:30. You didn't get done until 3 in the morning, I think it was.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was a little bit tough. I don't know about our player. It sent me out. I was out of whack the whole weekend for sleeping and whatever, figuring what was going on. But yeah, we started at 10. And then we ended up going 15 minutes over, but there was nobody scheduled behind us, so we were able to finish our game. But they charged us for it. But it was just, we've done that in the past where we've been like the 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock and go to 1 o'clock, but I've never been where you go on all the way to 3 o'clock. And you get back home, you don't get back home until like 6 in the morning because you got to take a while to clean up and get loaded up and bus and then ride back. So. But it was a great experience, great chance to play games. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to play here. We wouldn't be able to play anywhere in the upper Midwest that weekend. The weather was bad, so it was a chance to play.
And I know that there were a lot of games that were being played at U.S. Bank, so did you get a chance to watch anybody else?
Well, we were going to watch the Gophers. That's why we went up there early, but at first they weren't going to let us in because the Gophers were playing first. They were, their security was really tight, but we did some talking with some people, and they allowed us in to watch, and we got to see the last 3 or 4 innings of the Gopher game, and then we had to go down and get ready and stuff. So. But yeah, there's games going on there now, basically around the clock.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're out of time for this segment, so we're going to take a break here on Warriors Walk Off. When we come back, Mitchell Salzberg joins us right after this.
Psst, you're not dreaming. Your favorite Food Network shows are now live streaming.
Can I watch them here?
Yes, my dear, with a simple tap on the Watch Food Network app.
Snap. Can I watch it at the gym?
You can watch it at the gym. You can watch it with a gym. Hey. You can watch it anywhere.
Can I watch my favorite show?
You can watch your favorite show live streaming on the go.
Whoa!
Can we watch it while we're baking?
On all your devices, whatever you're making. Download the Watch Food Network app today.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What is this?
Tarek and Christina make Thursdays flipping fun.
I just hope this pays off.
We both love a good gamble.
We can't spend too much money.
Buyers are going to be obsessed.
Do you know what this means?
Get down with you.
So worth it. Amazing.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes not to fail.
It's a lot more fun.
Flip or Flop, Thursday night at 9 on HGTV.
And welcome back to Warriors Walk Off. Time now to talk to one of the players from the Winona State baseball team. And today we have Mitchell Salzberg, All-Star Mitchell Salzberg. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to first talk about the first game of the season. You get the ball as the starting pitcher for the season. And I know you did that last year, I believe, too. And in fact, I think all 3 years that you've been with Winona State, you've at least played in that first kind of series. Talk a little bit about that. Is that a big deal to be the first starter of the season?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just like the opening day starter in the MLB. You want to get the ball first game, and when you get the ball, you want to do your job. And this year it wasn't exactly what I hoped for, but I mean, I showed signs, and it was the first time we're outside, but you can't have excuses. It was not as good as I could have been, but it's nice to get the ball the first game, yeah.
Okay, and how have you progressed since that first game?
Every game except for the game after, I've been getting better and better. Just more consistent with all my pitches, throwing everything for strikes, getting ahead, everything a pitcher wants to do.
All right, that opening weekend, as we said, 7-5 was the first game, and then 12-11, kind of crazy game. So a little crazy start to the season. Talk about those first couple of games overall.
Yeah, we came out and we hit the ball, which I was kind of surprised because we hadn't been outside at all. Mm-hmm. But first game we came out, bats were rolling. I think it was the third inning. I think I gave up a run and it was 4-1, and then after that I just kind of lost it. And then we battled back and made it a game, but we just couldn't come out on top. And then the next game, same thing, just a ton of runs. Just couldn't get on top. But I mean, we showed a lot of good signs that first weekend for not being outside.
Okay, and Coach, your thoughts on the first couple games? We didn't get to that in the first segment.
Yeah, the same thing. I was really kind of concerned about how we react not being on the field, but I think we were pretty close to winning both those games. If we'd have been able to be outside, it was basically 3 plays that we didn't make that we're making now, and they're basically routine plays. But it's first time on the spacing and whatever, because we can get an infield in the gym, but we can't get the true spacing.
Right.
So one of them was a bad throw, and then not fielding a ground ball because going from the wood floor to a dirt surface with it. So, but I thought overall we played well at coming out of the gate and not coming out of the snowbanks and going down there. And, you know, their guys and their coach, they just don't get, how do you guys do this? You're not in the field all year long or whatever, and they don't know it because they don't go inside.
Right. They're
outside all the time, and if they get bad weather, they just cancel for the day usually. They never go into a gym or whatever. So I thought it was a good start for the weekend on that thing. I was just hoping we were progressing a little bit better as we went through the rest of their preseason stuff. So.
All right, I want to ask you about US Bank Stadium because I guess I'm going to assume that that's the first synthetic mound that you've ever had to pitch on?
No. I think Augustana had one my freshman year.
Yep, Augie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little different. I mean, you can't see like where you're throwing from every time because you don't dig out a little hole or a landing spot. But for the most part, it's the same. Just 60 feet, 6 inches.
So even you know, your legs and your feet and trying to get some kind of grab with your cleats, I mean, that's not any different?
Not really. I mean, you stick just like you would in a dirt mound, but it's not dirt.
Okay. Let me ask you about away from Winona State. You're a Viroqua native, played for the La Crosse Loggers this past summer, and you were named North Division All-Star. 54 strikeouts and 34 innings of work. Talk about your experience with the Loggers and what it's like to be selected to an All-Star team.
Oh, it was unreal. I played with a lot of guys from all over the country, big D1 schools, and it was a little different for me coming in right away. I was a guy from a small D2, and all these guys were naming off these big D1 schools. I'm like, I go to a small school in Minnesota, but they brought me on. They didn't think anything of it, and once we started playing, I was able to prove myself, and I was just another one of the guys, and it was great because I did well enough to make the All-Star team and just know that my stuff was good enough to get those guys out. So it was a great time.
It's kind of a hometown team for you, kind of around the area. Is that one of the things that you kind of wanted to do, was play for a team like the Loggers?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream, but I never thought it'd be a reality growing up until I got the call, and they're like, "Yeah, we want you," and I was like, "Of course, I'll come play."
All right, and are you still eligible to play then this season, this summer, if you want to?
I am, but I'm going to the Cape Cod out in out east. I'm playing in Massachusetts.
And we've heard that that's one of the best leagues that's out there. So what are your thoughts? And I know you want to think about this season, but that's got to be in the back of your mind as well to think about that.
I think it's going to be the same situation as going into lacrosse, just like not knowing what to expect, playing with the best of the best, but knowing that I'm there for a reason and they don't pick up guys they don't think can make it. So just trust myself and go out there and do what I do.
All right, well, we're out of time for this. Thank you both for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25 here on Warriors Walk Off.